Just like the constantly changing moon in the skies, the moon in the natal chart represents your forever changing and evolving emotions and feelings, your subconscious nature, your deepest desires, and what you truly need to be happy. Today, we're going to focus on understanding your moon through different zodiac signs. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer working with tropical zodiac and specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive readings. If you enjoy my content, please take a few seconds to show your support by leaving a like or a comment, subscribing, and pressing the notification bell. It helps YouTube algorithm push my content, helps my channel grow, helps bring it to more people and bring more recognition my way. I really appreciate that. You also have the option of saying thank you by buying me a coffee or tea or croissants or biscuits, whatever you prefer. I appreciate that. Before we dive in, if you're curious to understand yourself better, if you want to understand your relationship or figure out what's coming up for you, if you feel confused, lost in life, and could use some guidance, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. It's always a good time to understand yourself and to get more in touch with your soul and your true purpose. Additionally, on my website, you can find a variety of candles and oils, products that I create. Highly recommend checking out my Moon in Cancer 2 candles and oils. This one highlights the powerful moon in Cancer. Since we are talking about the moon, Cancer is the sign that is ruled by the moon, so it's the best at navigating difficult feelings. It's really good at finding comfort in the stormy emotions you may be experiencing, helping you relax, helping you sleep, helping you manifest. This is perfect for using alone or using in combination with any other one of my candles to help you reach your desires. So you can't understand the moon in astrology without looking at the moon in the skies and the nature of the moon itself, right? We talked about the sun. I posted a video about your sun sign, so definitely check that out first. But if we look at the sun, and the sun being the star that creates all the light, right? It's that young, masculine, conscious, visible energy. The moon doesn't have its own light. The moon absorbs the light of the sun. So it is very feminine. It's very sort of, accommodating, intuitive, deep, and kind of, definitely not about projecting, but more about receiving. So on many levels, it represents the receptive side of our personality. The moon is forever changing. The sun is constant. We know that it's going to rise in the morning. We know that the day will come. The moon changes shapes. The moon changes signs. The moon moves really fast. The moon, the sun also changes signs, but technically it's because we move in relation to the sun, right? The sun doesn't really move. It stays in the place. But the moon is very kind of changing and transforming. And so on a deep level, it represents our transforming needs and desires, because we're not constantly in the same place. Our emotions change, and so we need different things to be soothed, to be loved, to be supported. The fact that also the sun is visible during the day and it sort of feeds our ego, feeds our vitality. The moon is visible at night. And the moon has to do with the darker time of day, the more vulnerable time. So oftentimes the moon is also connected to mothers, to early life, to childhood. You see the child's moon sign quite strongly early in their life. And so the moon has to do with that stage, and also just in general vulnerability we have, right? Your moon sign will show up when you're hungry. It's going to show up when you're cold. It's going to show up when you're angry. You will be likely projecting the qualities of your moon sign, right? Like if your moon in Taurus and you weren't fed, you're maybe going to get angry. If your moon in Gemini and you haven't had a chance to speak about your feelings, you're going to get angry, right? Or when you're angry, you're really going to need to talk about your feelings. Or moon in Taurus will need to be fed, right? So it represents your needs. It represents your deep subconscious motivations on many levels. It's your inner self, right? It's the part of you that only those close to you get to see. It's also unfiltered part of you where you have less control over how you present it, right? Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't really control your feelings. They just come over you. So besides that, besides the needs, it can also describe how in touch with your needs you are. The stronger moon signs, like if you're born with the moon in Cancer or the moon in Taurus, you may be more self-understanding. If it's placed in the house that is more visible, like 1st, 7th, 10th, you may be more in touch with your feelings, versus if your moon is in a darker house, like the 2nd, 8th, 6th, or 12th, you may be a little bit uncertain. And those are definitely the people I would recommend this candle to the most, because it can definitely help you get more aligned with yourself and more understanding of yourself. And we can all use a little bit of that. So subconscious energy, needs, how in touch with your needs, your emotions, your instinctive reactions. Sometimes people connect with their moon sign a little bit more. That might happen if you were born at night after sunset. Sometimes the evening time is not night yet, but the sun has set, so the moon is in charge of your chart. She's your sect light. You can be connected with your moon more if you are a Cancer rising, versus if you're a Leo rising, your sun might be more dominant. So a lot depends on the individual chart, and that's where I would say get a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com, so I can answer all of your questions and help you understand what is your chart made of. So let me know your moon sign, and let me know whether you connect with your moon or sun sign the most, and let's talk about the moon through the different zodiac signs. Starting with people born with their moon in Aries. So if your moon is in Aries, you need independence. You need new things in your life. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's very aggressive. It's very assertive. So on many levels, you will need to show your independence. You will need to show your ideas, your innovation. You may be needing to get things started. You may be needing to take control of things. And this will give an interesting color to someone who is maybe a Cancer sun or a Taurus sun or a Scorpio sun, like a little bit more feminine, receptive qualities, right? Like if you have those, but your moon is in Aries, you will need to be brave. You will need to be courageous. You will need to be a risk taker. It's also a sign that really needs kind of to do things alone a lot of times, to go off on their own, to go on a hike, to do sort of like physical, to challenge themselves physically. The moon in Aries could be someone who relaxes by, like I said, going on a hike or going for a run or cleaning the house. So like moving the body, turning on loud music, right? Like it's a very, your moon is in this like pioneer, go-getter Aries sign. So you will need a lot of action. You will need to take risk. You will need to express yourself. You may at times need friction. You may need some conflict in your life. And that can show up professionally, where maybe you're someone who is an entrepreneur, a business owner, and you're just like, competing in the realm of career. But it could also suggest that you find that friction in relationships potentially. But could be really, really great for like courageous, independent, leader type personality. You may also need variety. You may need things to like excite you. You need something to feed the fire within you. So if a relationship, a connection, a situation, a job gets boring, you are more likely to get out of it and sort of, quit it. Your moon being in the sign of Aries can also suggest that you may have these like bursts of energy where you get excited about something, but then potentially burn out and need alone time. And so the way you express yourself and the way you relax is not always the most conducive to actually relaxing, right? Like going on a hike is not as good as like taking a nap potentially. So if you feel like you could use more relaxation in your life, check out my Moon in Cancer 2 candle. This is all about finding ease and joy and relaxing and just sort of having better alignment between your emotions and your self-expression. Some of the self-care ideas for the Moon in Aries definitely involve active rest like hiking, being outdoors, listening to loud music, maybe punching a bag, expressing some of the energy you have. And I think like starting new projects for sure. A couple more things that I think you may need with this placement is definitely freedom. You will enjoy doing things alone in your relationship, so you can't be with someone who's like trying to take all of your attention. You may need adventure. You're also potentially, because Aries is a fire sign, fire feeds off of air, you will need clear communication, reassurance, and opportunities to be in charge, or opportunities to do things your way, because it might be the best way in your opinion. If you want to know more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com, and we will break it down. We will look at your chart and I can answer any questions you have. If you were born with the moon in Taurus, this is beautiful. This is an exalted moon. It is considered to be limited by the slow and steady nature of the sign of Taurus, but is also supportive because the moon, yes, it rules Cancer, and Cancer is very good at dealing with emotions, but in Taurus, there is that ability to take it slow and steady and to soothe oneself by wrapping oneself in a warm blanket, by eating delicious food. So I think the nature of the sign of Taurus, that steadiness, that stillness, that, you know, sensuality, the ability, the love for nature can very much be better for the moon, because the moon, like I said, there's an element of like restriction because Taurus is so slow and steady, and the emotions are maybe flowing a little bit slower, but that is good because you don't want chaotic bursts of emotions. So if you're born with the moon in Taurus, you're definitely someone who has really strong powers of manifestation. You can call abundance into your life, especially, let's say, if you're a Gemini rising, or maybe even if you're a Cancer rising or a Taurus rising, it's quite nice to have the moon in Taurus for those placements. But you need stability. You are also likely someone who presents stability, who has that power to make other people feel relaxed and at ease. You need to move at your own pace. You will hate for someone to rush you. On another level too, with the moon in Taurus, you need to know things, right? Like you need to have a partner who's loyal. You need to have a partner that's showing up. You don't need a partner that will like constantly surprise you. Maybe if you're an Aries sun or some other like Aries fire placements, but on a deep core level, you really need stability. You need to have a plan. You need to know where things are going. You need to know whether you're together or not. So there's like strong emphasis on security. And you will actually feel secure in your sort of unchanging, comfortable, cozy environment. It's a Venus-ruled sign. Taurus is a Venus-ruled sign. So you will enjoy beautiful environments, beautiful clothes, delicious foods. You may be quite sensually aware, sort of good at pleasing the senses. On the challenging and the negative, you know, you may be too controlling or possessive, sort of trying to manipulate reality and other people into giving you what you want or staying a certain way. So you got to be aware of that you're not trying to control things too hard and that you're allowing the change that needs to happen. Some of lovely self-care ideas for you could involve cooking or ordering in, cooking delicious foods, going to a spa, spending time in nature. You can be very much in touch with nature. You will enjoy taking your shoes off and walking on the grass. You may sort of kind of require quiet days when you just chill in bed. Definitely will need some of those dates when you're recharging and taking it easy. You will appreciate cuddles and hugs and sleep, warm blankets. In that regard, you're quite similar to the moon in Cancer. And creativity. I think like doing something where you're expressing your creative side could be quite joyful for you as well. If you want to know more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. I can shed light on your natal chart. We can talk about the future. We can talk about your relationship and so much more. If you were born with the moon in Gemini, hello, Gemini moons. Say hi in the comments. This is a very chatty very intellectually driven moon. So no matter what your sun sign is, you will need intellectual stimulation. You will need communication. You will need conversation. Even if it's placed in a darker house, like 6th, 8th, or 12th, you will at least need some kind of, like the moon in Gemini, like likes to surf the web. It's a very kind of that placement where you have like a million tabs open, you're texting, you're reading something, you're going down the rabbit hole of the internet. And then of course, this is not always relaxing, right? That's the problem when you have a moon in the sign where she's not super comfortable in. Like in Gemini, she's not in detriment or fall. But when you are constantly sort of stimulating your brain, it's a little bit harder to relax. That's why I highly recommend for any of my Gemini moons, moon in Cancer. This is perfect for just slowing down, for feeling at ease, for feeling calm. Really, really good. Moon in Gemini is also very curious, so you need to stimulate your mind, which is what I've been talking about already. But like you will enjoy learning, you will enjoy reading, you will enjoy talking to different people. You may have a variety of interests and have this kind of like very adaptable nature to you, maybe being really good at learning languages or learning a lot of different things in general. Of course, sometimes it's hard to kind of navigate it because maybe you just have a bunch of random knowledge, right? And is it helpful? Maybe not. Your emotions may be quite fast changing too, and at times you can be moody without fully understanding why you're moody. Air moons tend to be not super great at feeling the feelings because they tend to rationalize their emotions and try to think about things instead of feel them. So learning to be in your body, learning to connect to your emotions is a big lesson here. But you need a partner who will listen to you. You will need someone who communicates with you because with this position, it's like impossible to be with someone who doesn't fully understand you, because on the deep, deep level, you really need to be heard and understood. Besides that, you need intellectual connection, you need variety in your life. Even if you are a Virgo sun like myself, you will need some kind of, maybe different food, maybe you need different workout classes you go to, maybe different books that you're reading. You will have that kind of ability to, or that strong desire for variety. And then self-care here could be reading a book, watching an episode of the favorite show, meditating, journaling. That's another manifestation. Sometimes if you don't feel, let's say your sun is in Scorpio and you are quite private, you will still need to express your thoughts, put them on a piece of paper. And that's how you would process your emotions. If you want to know more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com, and we can take a look, take a deep dive into your chart and give you more guidance on what it all means. I hope the construction sounds or whatever these sounds are not too loud. If you are a Cancer moon, this is the moon in rulership. This is a really powerful placement and is also quite lucky. So whichever house in your chart is Cancer, you will potentially see more ease in that area, more natural flow and more abundance. So if you are a Cancer moon, you will be a really deeply feeling person and you may react to situations with sensitivity, desire to nurture people, sometimes overprotectiveness and oversensitivity. And you may be really kind of focused towards protecting other people, not just yourself. You have strong intuition with this placement and you can naturally understand other people, maybe even predict things happening before they happen just because you were able to intuitively put the two and two together and figure things out. So with this placement, you definitely are someone who needs comfort, you need security. You may be also very loyal and you also will need like understanding, having someone in your life who accepts you for who you are, the moody version of you, the more outgoing version of you, the happy, the sad, the loving, the passive-aggressive at times version of you is really, really important. You oftentimes with this placement have a very strong connection to your family, be that the family of origin or maybe the family you have adopted as you are living life, maybe your community, maybe your work family, right? If you are a Libra rising, your moon is placed at the top of the chart, you're likely to be very attuned to people in your life. You may need a lot of reassurance, or at least some element of reassurance, a partner who's showing up, who's texting you regularly, who's feeding you, having someone who feeds you. You may enjoy baking, or you may enjoy sort of doing things like cooking for others, baking, tending to a garden, tending to a craft, doing things that, like, as a little crab, sort of, bit by bit, putting things together, improving things could be quite important here. And good, some other things that are important here, I think, are having that stability, having a comfortable home, a place you can go to, a cozy kitchen, maybe the best silverware, maybe a nice garden, loyal friends, good hugs. And some of your self-care rituals can definitely be centered around staying in, spending time with people you love, wrapping yourself in a warm blanket, having a bath. It's a water sign, so you may enjoy sort of taking a warm bath. And cuddling and eating delicious foods, I think, is quite important here. Comfort foods. Let me know how this resonates, and if you want to know more, book a reading on my website, anastasiaastrology.com. Now, if you are a Leo moon, here we're talking about the moon ruled by the sun, and it is a very kind of bright and generous and warm placement. So on many levels, you are very charming, always try to be the best version of yourself, always kind of enthusiastic and generous with other people. On the shadow side, you may be a little bit sort of loving drama, or loving to gossip, or loving to hear certain stories. It would depend on the rest of your placements. It would also depend on the position of your moon, which house it's placed in. But in general, it's a very creative placement. It's a very warm placement, very loving. It has that campfire energy where you will make people feel seen, you will make people feel understood, you will naturally know what to say to kind of feed the fire within them. You will need someone who stimulates your mind potentially, someone who comes up with great ideas. You will often also, with this placement, Leo needs recognition. Leo needs success. Leo has strong pride on many levels that comes out of accomplishments. So you may be quite driven to have success in life, to be popular, to be successful, to be noticed, even if it's in a small way, right? Like for some of you, it could just be about, I've done the job really well, could you say thank you, right? Or I've cleaned the house, appreciate me, right? Which is a very natural and normal desire. So besides being successful, if it's not like a classical success, you would just want to be appreciated, and you would appreciate verbal reassurance, compliments, and kind of, creativity in that way. You may also need to take good care of your hair, or maybe hair plays a really significant role in your life. And a lot of times I think people with their moon in Leo have a very good sense of humor. They might be like class clowns, or they may be people that like to make a joke. And so expressing your sense of humor, making people laugh, being maybe noticed in that way, or being noticed for your wisdom could also be something that you really need in life. Self-care rituals: get your hair done, go shopping, get a massage, dress up, and maybe get your friends together, maybe talk things out if it's making you feel happy. If you want to know more, book a reading on my website, anastasiaastrology.com. If you were born with the moon in Virgo, this is a Mercury feminine sign that is all about organizing and helpfulness and service to others. So you on some level will be very practical and very grounded. You will need stability and security in your life, similarly to the moon in Taurus. Earthy moons needs to know where things are going, like in relationships, in a job, you need stability, you need sort of that clarity on many levels. The moon in Virgo a lot of times finds a lot of joy in making the world better. Ooh, the moon in Virgo, and the sound of the vacuum stopped. Let's hope it continues. So you will relax and you will need to do things that organize your world, right? Like a lot of times the moon in Virgo will relax by like cleaning, organizing, maybe sifting through your closet, streamlining things, perfecting a skill, working on your novel, writing things. You may naturally be very attuned to nature because Virgo is an earth sign, so you will really enjoy taking nature walks, and also will have like really strong rituals, really strong kind of, you know, connections to your body, whatever it might be. If you have other placements, they may be contradictory to this, but you may still have these like strong kind of rituals around your life. That was a short break from the sound, but I'll move past it. I hope it's not bothering you guys. I just find it like I wish it wasn't here. But I have Saturn opposing my Mars today and about to square my Saturn, so I guess I'm just in it right now of like Saturnian deal with things that are maybe not as beautiful or joyful, and I'm here for it. So I hope you're as patient with this sound as I am trying to be. So like I said, needs stability, needs sort of cleanliness. You may need clean spaces. You may need kind of like organized spaces. Your kitchen might be the most like meticulous, but as any Virgo placement, you may have a little kind of cupboard or a little box where you keep a lot of messy things. So you may have that duality, being like clean about something and organized about something, while in a different part of your life, maybe you're a complete mess. That's any Virgo's shadow side. You may need intellectual sort of practices because the Virgo moon tends to be a very mercurial, analytical, self-critical sign. So having practices that involve meditation, that involve journaling, even like reading could be really good for you, where you're getting to slow down your busy mind, slow down your brain, and sort of relax. But yeah, very kind of working with animals, connecting with people, serving other people, even if you're doing it for your family, sort of problem solving for them, showing up for them could be really important for you. And ideally, you know, a partner who shows you acts of service, who helps you, who makes you feel appreciated, who maybe takes some of the weight off your shoulders is beautiful and lovely too. And so some of your self-care routines might involve long nature walks, books, deep conversations, oversized, comfortable clothes, and hugs. Who doesn't love hugs? If you feel like you're struggling with calming your mind, highly recommend my Moon in Cancer 2 candle, because it's the moon in the sign of rulership, and it could be beautiful for slowing down, relaxing, and finding more ease in your life. If you're curious to know more, sorry if I already said that, I don't think I did, but let's blame it on the vacuum. I'm just clearly struggling with like just chilling about it. But if you're curious to know more, book a reading on my website. It's also like the most Virgo reading of Virgo readings, of Virgo being distracted by the situation not being perfect enough, so forgive me. But if you're curious to know more, book a reading on my website, Anastasia.astrology.com. We can look at your chart, we can talk about the future, look at your relationship, and I will answer any questions you might have. Now, if you were born with the moon in Libra, you're born with the Venus-ruled moon, so you need harmony, you need peace, you need balance, and you need partnerships. And potentially some kind of like aesthetic stimulation, because it's a Venus-ruled sign. You are someone who may be more sensitive to your environment. You may need beauty. You may need quiet more so than others. You may need complete darkness when you're sleeping. So maybe you're someone who sleeps with a mask, or you just organize your space, or you need art around you, or even you need some kind of like cleanliness and, you know, and beauty and sort of space and beautiful kind of like environments. You may also need beautiful people, or you may need art, right? Like you may enjoy making art, observing art, going to plays, going to theater, being a member of some kind of creative theater board potentially. You need you a lot of times you like really need connection, so spending time alone together with someone, right? Like you're working on your project but your partner is like in a different room, or your partner is in the same room but you're both working, and you may feel almost like supported by the fact that they're here, and you know there's a presence of them in your life, they're right next to you. You may be a little bit indecisive because of the Libra tendency to weigh pros and cons and be really perfectionist and wanting kind of to figure out the best solution to the problem. And so that indecision can sometimes affect your relationships and maybe create a bit of like tension because you cannot make a decision about a relationship, about a connection. You're also likely someone who is very flirtatious, very good at getting along with people, very gracious in their speech, in their in the work that you do. And some of your self-care ideas could include being in a beautiful space, going to a spa, buying yourself something nice, right? Libra is a Venus ruled sign, so shopping might be quite enjoyable for you. And yeah, and like doing sort of little things to improve your space, doing little things to improve your relationship, to make other people happy, but not forgetting yourself in the process could be beautiful over here as well. If you're curious to know more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. We can break it down in more depth, look at the rest of your chart, describe the future, talk about the year ahead, or dive into your relationship and see what works, what doesn't work, what could be improved. Moving on to the Scorpio moon, a very deep, powerful, intense, passionate, and magnetic Scorpio moon. So if your moon is in Scorpio, you're likely someone who feels very deeply. So deeply that you have this like well of emotions, or it's like a deep river of emotions. And on the negative, you can be someone who really holds on to feelings. And even holds on to offenses, right? Or sort of holds on to grudges for a long time. Because you feel so deeply. Like, yes, for someone else, let's say if you're with someone who has an Aries moon, they moved on 25 times and you're still thinking about it. You're still feeling things. The moon in Scorpio is considered to be in its fall specifically because of that, because it's not great to hold on to feelings because it's not healthy for you. It's not healthy for relationships. So highly recommend for people born with the moon in Scorpio, my moon in Cancer candle. This is the moon in rulership, and it's really good for moving through feelings, for finding ease, for finding peace, for finding more kind of joy in life. So definitely check it out. What does the moon in Scorpio need? Well, besides learning to let go of the dark feelings, or, you know, kind of process them, sit with them, but not linger in them, well, you need people who see you. You need people who accept you and maybe share their secrets with you and open up to you and accept that you would be protective and you would be private until you feel comfortable. So someone who is trustworthy, someone who is supportive of you, someone who is understanding of your deep feelings. You need passionate sex. You need that, because like Scorpio energy, very penetrating, right? And so penetration could be literal sexual penetration, but it could also be more than that. It could be about the connection of the souls, the true intimacy, the true honesty, right? Like people telling you their secrets, people reassuring you, telling you, I have never said that to anyone. And that might be like your love language, secrets. It's the sixth one. You need to practice trusting. You need to practice sharing and letting people in. And for some of you, you might be perfectly comfortable with doing that. But I think because of the depth of feeling, you become very self-protective. And that is a part of your magical, mysterious allure. But that is also a part that can be hurting you from forming truly kind of happy relationships. Self-care ideas, spending time alone, maybe wrapping yourself in a blanket, having passionate sex, connecting with people you love, talking about deep things, no shallow, no chit chat, no sort of talk about the weather, hot showers, hot bath, cry sesh, candles, once again, really, really good for you guys. Moon in Cancer, candles or oils. If you're curious to know more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com, and we will talk about your entire chart, break things down, talk about your year ahead or relationship, whatever you choose. Now, if you are a Sagittarius moon, arguably the funniest moon out there, if you say so yourself. No, but it's true. Sagittarius is the very cheerful, optimistic sign. So on many levels, you are very cheerful and optimistic. Even if life brings you down, even if you go through tough times, you have that kind of broad-minded, tolerant, optimistic attitude. And that is what makes other people enjoy your company. That is what makes others joyful to hang out with you and connect with you. You need to learn. So you will enjoy reading, you will enjoy traveling, you will love to hang out with people of other cultures, other nationalities. If they can speak a foreign language, that might almost be like something that lights up your eyes, sets your soul on fire. You need meaning in life, so some kind of calling, purpose, mission, desire to always aspire for something. You may need, like I said, learning, but also teaching. So learning and teaching will almost be like together for you, because what you learn, you likely to feel passionate about, and then you will immediately want to share it. You need open spaces. You need nature time. So going on adventure, having a partner in your life who is fun and can inspire you and maybe bring new ideas and be spontaneous, because you're likely to be spontaneous. You're likely to be freedom loving, independent, adventurous, right? So someone who can do that and stimulate your mind and go on adventures with you is chef's kiss. Self-care might involve learning a foreign language, going on a fun trip, talking about philosophy, religion, but also maybe once in a while, like spiritual talk, meditation, learning about Buddhism, learning about astrology, prayer, right? Or whatever version of prayer is for you. Affirmations, sort of saying positive things into the universe. Your moon is ruled by Jupiter, and so you have a higher luck factor with this placement. If you want to know more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com, and we will break it all down and take a deeper look at your chart. If you were born with the moon in Capricorn, this is another one of those need to be in control, earthy, need to know what's going on placements. Very stable, very loving, very committed once it is, but a little bit reserved early on, right? Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. And so a lot of times early in life, you would have had a parent, potentially mother, who was encouraging your ambition, but also encouraging you to be an overachiever on some level. So you have learned to like manipulate things, to control things, not like manipulate in a negative way, but you have learned to work on things in order to achieve your goals. So you feel secure in the role of the provider, you feel secure in the role of the caretaker, you feel secure when you have control over things, right? So the moon in Capricorn is considered to be in its detriment because of that kind of struggle to relax, I think. An extreme need to just handle everything on your own, struggling to ask for help, feeling like the weight of the world of your is on your shoulders, right? Like it's a very sort of like, I need to take care of everything. And so learning to relax, learning to unwind, learning to be in the moment, learning to ask for help are all big lessons here. Highly recommend my Moon in Cancer 2 candle. It's the opposite energy of your natal one. So this is perfect for relaxing, for taking it easy, for sleeping better, for trusting in yourself better. Because sometimes the danger with this placement could be that you don't have a lot of trust, right? Like early in life, you were told that you have to be self-reliant, you have to do certain things, you have to achieve certain things. So there was no like innate faith that things can just happen to you and good things can come your way. So you may have a tendency to sort of like, you know, you get sick, you lean immediately to take some pills. You don't trust that your body will fix it. Or something bad happens, you jump in to like be the one in control. So having a little bit of that positive energy could be great, but also working on trusting is important. So you also need a sense of purpose. You need you may, with this placement, like, yes, you are ambitious, but you also, I think Capricorn is quite like a melancholic, family loving sign. It's the archetype of the father. So you may need like your long-term friends around you and sort of like keepsakes, memories of the past. You may be very kind of close with your family on some level, or close, have like strong memory of the childhood. A lot of it is also related to Moon in Cancer, but because Capricorn is opposite Cancer, I think this resonates with you guys too. So you need a sense of purpose. You may need success for sure. Financial security, verbal reassurance, loyalty, stability, a sense of knowing the plan, knowing where things are going. And your self-care may be practicing the opposite, right? No to-do lists, ordering in so you don't have to cook, hanging out with friends, maybe hiring housekeepers so you don't have to clean, right? Sort of allowing yourself to chill a little bit. If you want to know more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com, and let me know how this resonates. Do you feel like it describes you, or do you feel like maybe other placements in your chart are contradicting it a little bit? Maybe you have some Pisces placements and you're really good at relaxing. If you were born with a moon in Aquarius, this is Saturn ruled traditionally, and very eccentric, very individualistic, very unpredictable on some levels. Like, you may be someone who needs to be different. Consciously or unconsciously, you need to have your unique style. You need to express your unique opinions. You need freedom on many levels. Like, Moon in Aquarius needs freedom to be yourself, and you will be vigorously, zealously, you will be encouraging other people with a ton of passion to be themselves. Like, you're somebody tells you to do things, they ask you to smile, you will show them the middle finger. You're going to be very individualistic, very kind of independent. At the same time, you are someone who needs a lot of kind of mental connection, mental stimulation, friendships, having a friendship circle, having your community of people who are maybe outsiders themselves, or people who share your opinions, people who care about the future of the planet, the future of the world, the future of health. Whatever it is that is exciting to you will be important. And so, so sort of kind of volunteering, giving back to the community, building friendships is quite important to you. You may enjoy stimulating your mind, right? Going to a museum, watching documentary films, learning something while you are watching things. So it's not just for fun. And some of the self-care ideas could definitely involve going to a museum, watching a documentary film, going out in the nature, doing things that I think can help your mind chill a little bit, because while you enjoy being eccentric, you can also be an overthinker, and it's good sometimes to slow down, to meditate, to connect with your body and turn the brain off. If you're curious to know more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com, and we can talk about your natal chart, we can describe your year ahead, and break it all down. I will gladly answer any of your questions. Now, if you were born with the moon in Pisces, you are likely to be extremely sensitive, very intuitive, good at picking up on the vibes of other people, to a point that sometimes you take on their energy and you need to learn to put up better boundaries and to not absorb other people's energy because it might be unhealthy for you. You need sleep, you need rest, you need ability to daydream and to maybe escape reality. It's of course best if you choose healthy escape methods like art, maybe writing or drawing or painting, expressing your sensitive nature through making creative objects, right? Creating art. But you will also be, you can also be like a great therapist for other people. But of course, I think sometimes when you have the moon in Pisces, it is a bit hard to like put up boundaries between yourself and other people, because the veil between the imaginary world, the spiritual world, and the real world is really thin, I think, when you have the moon in Pisces. You may be naturally sort of like picking up on the vibes, hearing spirits, or, you know, being more attuned to spiritual signs, and as a result feeling a little bit more confused in the real world, or having the real life concerns like eating at the same time or going to bed at the same time slipping through the cracks. So you got to make sure that you're not forgetting about your physical body. Some other things you need besides sleep: you may enjoy a good book, a glass of wine, music, very attuned to music. I think you're probably someone who has a playlist, or you're emotionally connected to specific songs. You may need magical romance in your life. You may be someone who's also very romantic, but also a little bit like hard to pin down sometimes and hard to understand how you're feeling. You may need like time to cry and time to be alone and time to sort of be in your feelings. And so the ideal partner is someone who accepts that and doesn't force you to be a certain way, right? Or doesn't force you to do things at their pace. So a partner who's accommodating. I actually know Pisces moon, Taurus sun, and her husband is very much like, we're going to do what you want to do, and very kind of adjusting to her. So that is quite nice. And yeah, so self-care would include taking a bath, winding down with a candlelit dinner, drinking a glass of wine, like I said, listening to music, sleeping in, and just letting yourself daydream sometimes without judging yourself. And creativity, making art for sure. If you're curious to know more, check out my website, book your reading. Moon in Cancer candle could be lovely for you, because Cancer is a water element, water sign, so is Pisces, and so this is naturally beautiful for rest, relaxation, feeling soothed, loved, protected, etc. Thank you for listening to this. I have posted the sun signs video about your sun through the different zodiac signs. Let me know down below what you think. What else would you like me to cover? What other astrological topics you're interested in? I have a bunch of ideas, but I really appreciate your participation. Every single comment, every single like counts. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do before you say goodbye to this video. And I will make sure to talk to you soon. Bye.